Good morning. Oops, little bit too loud. Good morning. All right, there we go. Sound nearly blew me away. My fault. Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living and Living in Visalia. I am Stan Medina, and I'm a member of the board here at this center. I'm your host this morning, and we're going to get ready to go into meditation. And our meditation for today, I believe we're going to have Kevin provide a little music, background music for this. And our meditation that you can focus on for this morning is, I release fear of the dark and open to new perspectives. So we will be back at 10:15. Enjoy your meditation. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you, Kevin, for that. Very nice. Made me feel like I was walking through a forest and a cool breeze was blowing past me. That was very nice. Um, Thank you and welcome back. And now it's time for our meet and greet session. And for those of you on Facebook or YouTube, enjoy the background music that Dina will provide and the slides that Donna will slowly show across your screens and enjoy the inspiration and the information that will be presented to you for the next 15 minutes. And then at 10:30 we'll be back to start the services and to the band will will treat us all with some uplifting and great music. So we'll see you at 10:30. Thank you very much. Good morning. Welcome back. If everybody will take their seat, and we'll start the service here with some great music. I want to first introduce the band. We got on bass, we got Philip Santian. On piano, on drums, we got Joe Lizama. And on piano, we have our music director, and on piano, Kevin Escobar. All right, and we got Donna Williams, doing the vocals. So we got a great little band here, and they're going to do some great music for you and get this service off the road with a really good jump. So I think we're all ready. So band, take it away. Thank you, band. Boy, I wanted to start dancing to that one. Right, Florence? Oh, I was here. I was dancing the other Saturday. You bet. Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. That was wonderful. Always music that just gets you going. Makes that blood start flowing, right? Okay, now back to business here. Okay, welcome, everyone. And let's see, I lost my place. Okay, I think we got announcements. Oh, wait a minute. Does anybody, see, I don't see anybody new here, so I was supposed to ask that question. I know, oh, yes. What was your name again? I'm sorry. Anisma. Close? Okay, that's close. That's close enough. We got a student here is going to kind of has to do a, if you don't mind my saying, do a class report on our philosophy here in our center. So we're hopefully we'll give her a good impression and help her in her studies and give her get her an A in this class, whatever she's taking. So um, okay, I think now this morning we are going to have a board meeting today at 12. It's open to all who are interested, want to know what's going on in the center. Uh, and so you're all welcome. 12 o'clock here, here on the floor. Okay, and I think the next announcement, we're going to bring on Reverend Nan. And here's Reverend Nan.
Well, good morning. And I got a few more announcements here for you. First of all, I want to say thanks to Donna Williams for filling in on the fly. You know, Hope has a little sore throat thing going on that was keeping her home, and did a great job for just coming in and doing that with hardly any rehearsal. Thanks to our band for everything that they do, because you guys just manage to flex into whatever we need, and it's always great. Thank you, thank you. So the first announcement that I have today is about Dr. Will Tuttle's workshop. It's going to be on May 30th, and that's next Tuesday, a week from this Tuesday coming up. It's 7 to 9 p.m. there at the center. You don't have to sign up really, but I recommend that you be there. It's going to be a wonderful thing, opening the intuitive gate. And it puts you in touch with your intuitive or mystical side. And I think it's going to be a fabulous meeting, workshop evening. I really wish I could be there with you all to experience Will. He's been there before some years ago when Reverend Kathleen was there. And I think you're going to have a fabulous time. It's a love offering, donation only, so it's affordable to everybody. And you know, you can bring your heart and just say it was great, and that's enough love to make it work. So I highly recommend that you be there. And then we have the next little item coming up is this ongoing discussion about our Let's Talk Science of Mind version 2.0. Well, we do have a decision that the consensus was to have it before the service, because next weekend is Memorial Day weekend and people will be coming and going, I think. It also is going to take us a little bit of time to get this set up technically with the center operations in the morning and see how that's all going to work. So I don't anticipate that we will start this until the first weekend in June. But don't worry, we'll have another announcement about it next week, and you'll be able to get all of the information then, I promise you. And also, the class that would have started on Wednesday this week is going to be postponed until later in the summer. I only had one person who signed up to register for it. And we just, I think that with the summer activities and everything happening that's going to be going on, you know, we do the barbecue, we do the nice evening weather, try to get out to the pool, have a little bit of relaxation. And so I think that we'll do better to have some of our educational processes be a little bit later in the season. So don't worry, we'll have more educational opportunities, and some of them will still be without any fee. So now I get the opportunity to speak to you about inclusivity. And you know, our inclusivity team meets, well, we kind of work, but we meet on Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock on Zoom. The Zoom link is on our website, and you can pick it up there. If you'd like to attend, it's open to everybody. And every week, one of our team members selects a quote for the service. And today, our quote was selected by Bonnie Carlia. And the quote is from Harriet Lerner from her book, The Dance of Fear, Rising Above Anxiety, Fear, and Shame to Be Your Best and Bravest Self. And the quote says, "But what is courage? In a world saturated with images of action figure bravado, we may mistakenly believe that courage is the absence of fear. Instead, It is the capacity to think, speak, and act despite our fear and shame. So we'll be talking a little bit more about our fears as I give my message later on. In the meantime, though, you have the opportunity to be blessed with the affirmation and our treatment, our opening treatment from our virtual practitioner, Sonia, who's in Barbados, and she's joining us now. And I'm going to turn it over to her for our affirmation and our opening treatment. Sonia, take it away, and thanks so much for being with us. And make sure you take yourself off mute.
Thank you, Reverend Lannon. Good morning, CSL Visalia, and all others who are watching us on the worldwide net. I'm Sonia, and I'm in Barbados. I'm going to do the invocation first because I do not have access to the affirmation. I'm unable to see it at this moment. I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath. And let us go within, becoming still and unifying with the cosmic being that we call God, universal. In this moment, I recognize that God is all there is, and that each one of us present here is that divine spark of God, is that twinkling little star. Each one of us present here is a divine knower, divine practitioner of all that God is. And as I speak my word, I know that each divine spark, each little star brings their light to this planet. And that light casts a beam like a lighthouse to show the way, to keep others from running aground. We who have developed our light as practitioners and ministers give that light to the world for healing, for wholeness, to return others to that divine essence that they are, that divine wholeness that they are. And so I give thanks. I give thanks with a heart so full of gratitude for each twinkling little star that shows upon this planet to light and guide the way of others whose lights may have been dimmed. I give thanks for the ministers, for the practitioners, and for the members of CSL, and for all other New Thought personnel. And so I release this word to the law. The law continues to work on this word, bringing more and more persons into the light, just from tiny little twinkling stars. And so it is. Thank you so much. And now for the affirmation. I release fear of the dark and open to new perspectives. I release fear of the dark and open to new perspectives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonia. And now we will have some music.
Must seem crazy what I'm about to say. The sunshine's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that can go to space.
Well, good morning again. And thank you to our band for that. I bet y'all must be happy by now. If you could stay sitting with that, you need to be snoozing. That was a vigorous production. Thank you again. And thanks to Donna and everybody who's making this happen today. Well, here we are, and welcome again to our Sunday service. I'm Reverend Nan, and whether you're in our sanctuary or out in our virtual community, I'm just so happy that you are with us today. You know, I have to make a correction. The inclusivity quote this week, I've gotten my weeks mixed up. I don't know why, but our inclusivity quote this week was actually selected by a different team member, Carol Greening. And every week somebody does it, and I got the wrong person for this week. So thank you, Carol, for this week's quote. And thanks to Bonnie for letting me know that I got my weeks mixed up. So this week, we're going to continue our exploration of our monthly theme of light within the shadows. And my talk title this week is Dancing in the Dark. Now, we just shared our affirmation of releasing fear of the dark and opening to new perspectives. And today we're going to take a look at our fear of darkness. And that fear can appear on many different levels. It can range from the darkness we experience when all the lights are out, or the darkness of being alone. Maybe at night, maybe just being alone. To the darkness of varying degrees of skin colors that we have been taught to fear as the others. Now, for eons, we've associated darkness with evil and innumerable monsters in books and movies, TV, and there was a whole new array of horrible monsters that have come along with the influx of video games. You know, I have a story about that because I was pretty young and my folks took me to see a movie. But before it started, there was a short version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Now, it was dark and we were at a drive-in and it was close to Halloween. Things were a little bit creepy anyway. And I was doing okay until the headless horseman appeared, riding like the wind and flying across the screen in all of its goriness. At least it appeared that way to me. And I was terrified by that visual. After that, oh my goodness, I was fearful of every full moon and anything to do with horses. I went on to develop a fear of all weird Halloween creatures and monsters. And living in a rural small town in the Midwest, it was a big thing to go door to door to trick or treat. Well, it lost its magic for me for a number of years after that because I never wanted to go except in the daylight. And needless to say, that wasn't the best time for my folks or the people at the houses we might visit. My fear about the supernatural creepy things continued on into my adult life. My friends and family made fun of me, and I was called chicken. That was one of the nicer terms. But I remained steadfast in my fear through all the verbal assaults. Eventually, I got past it, but it sure took some time. And that actually turned out to be an easier fear of darkness to remedy than some I experienced as I continued to live my life. Some of my more challenging fears involved the darker side of me, or what we might consider our shadow self. I was an angry young person. My anger is not always well controlled, and in my extreme pain of anger, I was perfectly capable of hurting someone, although I never took that choice to a physical level. Instead, I used words to inflict pain on others, and those were even more devastating because once spoken, they could never be unheard or erased. Ultimately, I learned a number of practices to release that anger in harmless ways. The most important of those was forgiveness of myself and others, and how to love myself even with all my shadows and warts and things that didn't seem right. And believe me, that took some time to master. And even today, I can have moments of self-doubt, irritation with myself and others, and even a hint of guilt that can spark some kind of response in me. But my spiritual practices return me to alignment in much quicker, more effective ways. As Dr. Holmes, our founder, noted, sitting in the shadow, we may not really believe that there is any sunshine, but the sun would be there all the time. It's there, but we must awaken to it. And I can now awake to the realization that the sunshine is there without living in the darkness and the shadows for days. I think it may be true for many that perhaps the thing we fear most is the dark side of ourselves. And we've all got one. If we look at the yin and yang symbol, we know that there's dark and light in it. And that's a synergy. It's a symbol of wholeness, a balance of our dark and light. But we've been taught to fear it, to suppress it, to deny it, to hide it. And in the denial and suppression, we've kept our shadows at bay, unable to fully realize our authenticity or wholeness. I know I did for a very long time. Yet, in various cultures and spiritual traditions, becoming one with the darkness and the shadow self was and still is a requirement. The mystery school initiates in Greek and Egyptian ancient cultures had to experience darkness physically and spiritually to advance to the next level of secret wisdom teachings. For those who sought to be high priests in ancient Egypt, one of their activities was something I just don't think I could really do. And I'm grateful I did not have to go through that to become a minister for Centers for Spiritual Living. The initiate was placed in a box, and the box was filled with poisonous snakes, and the lid was sealed. Now, the person in the box had to be incredibly still and in a deep meditative repose until the box was opened, maybe 2 or 3 days later. That required absolute unification and alignment in their spiritual practice, that they were one with every aspect of themselves, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and at one with everything around them, in them, through them, and in the box and wherever else they may travel in their meditative state without disturbing their physicality. Now that required some pretty amazing self-mastery of the many fears they may have had to confront, including fear of darkness, confinement, or snakes. If the initiate was still alive, well, when they opened the box, then they graduated to the next level. If they weren't, they were judged to be impure, not good enough, or even imposters trying to infiltrate the teachings. The high priests were always very righteous in defending their initiation practices as a way of filtering out the unworthy. If you didn't pass the test, you wouldn't have been okay anyway. Indigenous peoples have had rites of passage that include confronting the shadow self and embracing it also. It's been part of what has been popularized as the vision quest that was also part of coming of age in some cultures. A person would set out alone with very little food and water to meet their guides and their demons and gain wisdom and wholeness. And again, the individual returned with greater spiritual maturity and growth, or not. Now, these examples seem rather harsh, yet the concept of totality of being applied a bit extremely, perhaps, was the driving factor. And the result was the illumination and understanding that as whole and complete beings, the unity with our shadow side and fears is essential for our conscious growth. In each expression, the individual partnered with and embraced the dark instead of fearing, controlling, or labeling it. Turning to our philosophy of science of mind, if we consider our spiritual principles, our thoughts shape our reality, right? And what we focus on manifests, and what we resist persists. We all hear that. Our energy flows where our attention goes. So no wonder we're afraid of the dark. We make affirmations all the time about the negativity of the mystery of the darkness. We engage in rituals to protect ourselves from dark forces or even our own dark thoughts. And we also know from science of mind principles that the laws of the universe work all the time and equally regardless of light or dark or who we may be. So it's our responsibility to be aware of our thoughts and actions and engage the laws wisely and consciously. Even if we do an affirmative prayer and use language that may say something like, oh, my world will get better when my jealousy is gone, we're still bringing the problem or negativity into the picture or our treatment or affirmative prayer. Our words have power and can be double-edged swords with polarizing or negating actions without us even being consciously aware that's what we're doing. Think about it. Fire can heat or burn. Gravity can hold or cause things to fall and crash. Electricity can provide light or it can electrocute. Now, if our subconscious mind is filled with negativity and fear about the dark, we're bound to manifest that in our experience based on those thoughts and fears. It's up to us to gain awareness of these inner dynamics that may sabotage our good and work to change it. Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking, change your life. And it sounds simple enough. And this practice is something that requires a great deal of awareness. Now, this practice is a practice that can be embraced to unlearn our fear of the darkness. The darkness can show us the way home when we're lost, just as the light can, but we have to trust it and surrender to its magnificence. And I would remind us all that out of the darkness of the unformed substance of spirit, pure energy, the know-nothingness, the no-thingness, light was created and born into being. Many of our fears and beliefs about darkness come from others, and they're not even ours to assume. Yet we often learn powerful habits of thought from other people's fears and judgments. Our families, our friends, everyone that we go to school with, our cultures. And some people don't understand the dark and cause a generalized misperception of shadow spaces because of it. But that doesn't have to be our norm, you know. Fear of the dark and loss of control has caused people to stereotype and ostracize people of other cultures and practices. This is all due to a fear of the unknown, such as cultural ways of being, languages, traditions, ways of dressing, behaviors. Anything that doesn't look just like me can be something other. And that's something we really can be aware of, how much we move into otherness. You know, I was watching an international cooking challenge with expert chefs from all around the globe the other day. One of the competitors was from the Congo. Now, the challenge was to make cookies, a savory cookie, not sweet, and one cookie that was sweet. And they were to be very, very crisp. The person from the Congo had no idea how to make a cookie, much less a crisp one, because they don't have cookies in the Congo. So she made two items that might be considered what the judges requested in her perception of cookie. Both of her products were unusual in shape, texture, and decoration. And the judges looked at them with question marks and were quite critical of the products until they tried them. Of course, they were judging the competition, so they had to at least try them. And they were all very surprised at how delicious they were, even though one was not very crisp and did fall apart, and the other one wasn't as crisp as they would have liked it. Imagine how that could be, that they could find that it was okay, even if it didn't meet the criteria. And no, she didn't win in the contest, but she did, because I was so pleased to see the authenticity of the Congo chef not trying to follow what she did not know how to do. She said, as they judged her cookies, if she tried to make something out of fear of failure, she would have failed regardless of the outcome. If she made something from who she really was, even if she didn't win, she did not fail herself or her country because she did not let her fear of failure win. Interesting, huh? You know, our fears can get passed down through generations, making myths seem real. We assume fear is truth because someone told us so without ever questioning or interrogating it for validity. However, when we have an open mind and a heart about learning something new or unlearning something that's been taught or instilled, we can lean in with curiosity and exploration. Through openness, surrender, and release, we can learn to unlearn old thinking, forgive, and let go of old habits that have limited us and others. Now, here's a spiritual tool that I highly recommend for this. And that would be our spiritual night vision goggles. Yep, spiritual night vision goggles. So, you know, the military and other groups have night vision goggles so that they can see in the dark. Where are they, spiritual night vision goggles, and just where do we find them? Well, they are our spiritual lenses that are always there in us, through which we can choose to view any circumstance. Our spiritual lenses come with a perfect variety for all occasions. They come with a love filter, a light filter, a peace filter, a power filter, a beauty filter, and a joy filter. And they exist right inside of us. We don't have to go around looking outside to see where we might have left them on the patio. Nope, nope, nope. And this is how using them works. Okay, I hope you're writing this down. It's important. We clean and we polish them every time we engage in our spiritual practices, whatever they may be. Prayer, meditation, contemplation, mindfulness, and my personal favorite, sitting down and having a heart-to-heart conversation with the universe about life. When we make the choice to look into one of our fears of darkness, our own inner or something outer that we have learned to fear, we choose the lens to view it with our night vision goggles. Now, an example might be that old anger thing I mentioned that I had. I looked at that anger and found that it was my reaction because I felt I wasn't valued. So in my hurt, I was reacting from my own deep belief that I wasn't good enough. It scared me to look at it because maybe I wasn't. And the fear of the anger raging out of control made me even more scared to look at it. I learned that if I chose the spiritual lens of peace, I could calm myself before I took the step of getting to the self-worth situation. And that required a lot of work with the night vision goggles of love. Sometimes we have to vary our goggles to move through our fears, the darkness and the shadows. And our regular spiritual practices help support moving from old thought patterns of fear to something new, more productive and positive. You know, we humans like to be in charge and in control. And this is where misuse of power often goes afoul. Shadow places are revealed where fear of the unknown resides. And when we don't know, we often make it up in order to maintain control. These dark spaces of the need to control are often where violence, harm, and oppression show up. And we've got a lot of that on display in our world right now, huh? Always has been. But the darkness can be our friend, a space of fertility and creativity. It can soothe and comfort and yield insight and clarity. We can practice vulnerability, and we spent a lot of time on that last month. We can surrender instead of being dominating and controlling. First, we learn to embrace the dark, feel more comfortable, and welcome it into our world. We can retrain ourselves to lift our faith instead of our fear. We can focus on good coming out of the dark instead of the opposite. And we can learn a lot from our nocturnal non-human friends who see best in the dark. We can shift our attention and approach the shadows from a place of reverence and mystery instead of from fear of evil or the ominous. Our personal work in assimilating and embodying our shadows and light assists others and collective consciousness in opening to similar recognition and embodiment of wholeness. As a species, we create othering through standardizing the perception of what's good and bad. We create binary comparisons through systems of oppression and cause stigma of anything that is outside of the norm. To be truly inclusive, we must embrace it all, the light and the dark alike, to eliminate a dominant culture that subordinates others who have a unique culture or identity. As we create awareness and accountability about how things got to be the way they are in our society, we can make systemic changes for good. By unlearning our collective fear of the dark, we invite healing and balance with light and darkness. Barbara Holmes writes in Race in the Cosmos, the phrase, "the world was dark and void," from Genesis 2, is not an indictment. It is an indication of the state of the universe in the beginning. It is the womb out of which we are born, a Genesis space for let there be. And this is a mothering darkness that nurses its offspring. I'm describing a darkness that strengthens us, she writes. It encourages us to push deep roots into the dark earth, where we can grow toward the light fed by the darkness. Think about it. Most plants do that. In order to appreciate the beauty of the darkness, we have to unlearn all of the stigmas that we hold about it. What if we beheld the unknown with wonderment and curiosity instead of fear? These healthy shifts would help change our relationship to darkness and help us encircle the shadows and the light. Our dance through life would become one of unlimited variety, unity, and wholeness. By unlearning our collective fear of the dark, we invite healing and balance with light and darkness. Dr. Holmes notes in this thing called You on page 68, no harm can come to you when you know that God is at the center of everything. Now, regardless of what we might call this one presence, God, Spirit, the universe, Yahweh, Allah, Buddha, Wakantanka, or the many sacred names of the world, in our philosophy, we learn how to see it at the center of everything, including ourselves. You know, if you'd like a little assistance with your night vision goggles, I'm always available, and you can reach me by text or phone in 941-585-2331, or email me at revnan@cslvisalia.org. It's very easy. I'm always ready to spiritually support and guide anyone in releasing old thoughts and beliefs that keep those fears and shadows trapped in darkness. And what I do know for sure is that the alignment of body, mind, and spirit is the revelation of wholeness that is our natural state. And that natural state of being includes freedom, peace, love, and joy for all humanity, all creation. So let's put on our dancing shoes. And we had a great demonstration of that with the concert last weekend with Stan and Florence. Let's get out our goggles and dance like nobody's watching, including our fears and our shadows. My dance card has a lot of empty spaces, so come on and join me on the vast dance floor of life, dancing in the darkness of infinite love. Because, you know, love always prevails. And so it is. And so let's just cap this with a little prayer, as is our custom. You know, I hope you noticed that when Sonia came on, her sound was so much better. She has her new microphone, and I found her very easy to hear and listen to. So I think that's a big step for us to have a better microphone for Sonia. So in this moment, I'm going to offer the prayer. And I just hold each of us high in that fullness of the light and darkness. I hold each of us high on that altar of consciousness that says we are one. We are one with all that is. And we are all loved with all of our human frailties, with all of our little oddities and quirks and curiosities. There is no judgment in that one power and presence. There is only love. And we are loved equally all the time. Wherever we may be, it's never withheld. That love is always flowing through us, to us, and it is us in our true nature. And so I bless everyone with the recognition of this wholeness, of this true nature, of light and dark, and the balance of each that is so synergistic. I know that it is the perfect pattern of divine wholeness. And in this time, I just say thank you. I say thank you with great heart appreciation for knowing that we are loved, that we are always loved, and that we are whole and complete and perfect. Always, always, always. And I let this be. I know it is so, and so it is. Alrighty. And so, get another little bit of music here. I hope you enjoy it. It's one of my favorite songs. And don't forget, you can lean on me. So go for it.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, but it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, oh, no one can feel those of your needs that you don't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Boy, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Just call me if you need a friend. Call me if you need a friend. Just call me. Call me. Call me.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, Kevin and the band. I do like that song a whole lot. And now it's time for our conscious giving affirmation. So we have our slide. If you'd like to take your gift, put it close to your heart, and let's share our affirmation. This week, as we bless our gift, we say, I dance with joy and gratitude as I share my gifts with all. Go ahead and join me with that. I dance with joy and gratitude as I share my gifts with all. And if the ushers would like to begin to collect those gifts, that's a wonderful thing. You know, I just want to give great thanks for all the good that everyone supports this center with, whether it's time, talent, or treasure. The treasure is very important. You know, it keeps the lights on and it keeps everything happening there in the center. And as you can tell today, we have a little air conditioning issue going on, but we're going to be having that checked this week. We know that we're going to have a repair, so we'll keep you posted on that. But in the meantime, I'm so very, very grateful for the generosity that supports this center, for the hearts that give so freely. For I know that all these gifts that are given are returned to the giver 100-fold or more, always, always, always. And so it is with great, great gratitude that I receive these gifts. And now I bless them and I give thanks, because I know from the love of pure spirit, these gifts are coming forth through the individuals who are blessed with prosperity and abundance, that support this center in love and generosity and joy. So I know these gifts do good work here in our center, good work in our community, and they go on and do good work in our world. And it is with great, great gratitude I bless them and let them be, and so it is. And now it's time for our peace song. So y'all can gather up down there on the floor. So nice to see all of yous. I get to have a little look at y'all this morning. It's nice to have everybody there. Thank you for being with us. For all of you at home, thank you for, or wherever you may be in our virtual community, thank you for being with us whenever you see this and enjoy it. So now there'll be words on the screen and you can sing along.
Now there is peace on earth, I know it begins with me. Now there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. If I take, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.
All righty. Now it's time for our favorite part, the benediction. I think y'all know how this goes, so if you're of the mind, you can Join me as we say together, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It's in my mind. It's in my body. It's in the body of my affairs. And it's this thing called life. And I think it. And I feel it. And I love it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. And together we can say, thank you, life. And I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week. Keep on dancing. If you need any help with your night vision goggles, just give me a holler. Take care.